The Knicks were 100% right giving Jalen Brunson the contract that they gave him. And he, to me, is one of the more underpaid players in the NBA at his position. I think when you look at Jalen Brunson, he is a star point guard in the NBA. He's a top 4 point guard in the NBA. He has changed this offense ever since he's come to this roster, given the Knicks a point guard that they haven't had since Charlie Ward and Chris Childs, and he's better than both of them. But this team, over the last couple of days, have not played good basketball. And the reason why is Jalen Brunson is not in the lineup. He's fighting an injury, and the Knicks don't want to put his body on the line for a full season, because if you lose him, he could be out for the rest of the season, and then they have no chance to make the playoffs. But you see that when Julius Randle is bringing the ball up, or RJ Barrett is bringing the ball up, there's a problem. And you saw it against the Dallas Mavericks. They had a chance to win that game, and they had nobody bringing that ball up. And when you don't have R.J. Barrett in that game because he hurt his finger early in the game, and then no Jalen Brunson, who is your second-tier player that's going to give you that offense? And that's the problem right now for the Knicks. Injuries are hurting them. They don't have enough depth. Obi Toppin's still out. Jalen Brunson's out. R.J. Barrett's right now out.
Yeah, he's going to miss at least a week.
So they're not getting enough offense. And they have bricklayer himself, Julius Randle, shooting up balls that don't have any chance of going in. And he's the one that's bringing up the ball. You can't win when your power forward is bringing up the ball. And when Brunson comes back, this offense will pick up. They were on an 8-game winning streak. They were one of the hottest teams in the NBA, if not the hottest team in the NBA. Right now, they're on a losing streak, and they're one of the coldest teams in the NBA. There is a hot team right now in New York, and it is the Brooklyn Clowns. And it has a lot to do with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is playing at an MVP type of game, and he's been unbelievable this year. He's averaging over 30 points, doing everything, rebounding, he's passing, he's playing defense. Ever since Steve Nash stepped down, this has been a different team. Ben Simmons, when he is in the lineup, he's doing everything. He's not giving you 15 points like he did with the 76ers.
He's fully up to 8.3 now.
Giving you the rebounds, he's giving you the assists, and he's defending every single position. I think it's really changed this roster because you don't need offense from this kid. You just need an elite defender that can defend multiple positions and do what he does best. And when that happens, and you have that in the playoffs, when you have somebody that can take the Greek freak, or you have somebody that can stick a team's top point guard because of his size and his athletic ability, you have a chance to win those games. Kyrie Irving, he's not speaking a lot after all the stupid things that he said early this season, and I don't even think he should be playing.
I don't either.
But he's playing at an all-star level. He's averaging 27 points a game, giving you the assists. He's getting everybody involved. He's getting the bench players involved. I think he's been as good a point guard in the NBA as we've seen. I expect that this team will compete for a championship this year. I don't know if they're going to win. I think Milwaukee's the best team in the East. The Celtics have played at a very good, very fast, very quick level, and Tatum is probably going to win the MVP, but it's going to be interesting. I've been very impressed with how the East, especially the top 8 seeds, how they've played back and forth. And the Western Conference has been a joke. We have spoken over the years about the Golden State Warriors. They're having a horrible season. The Lakers, I don't know, they can't get out of their way. Anthony Davis can't stay healthy.
Or shoot threes.
All these top teams. A couple of weeks ago, Utah was the number 1 seed. Now they fall all the way out. It's back and forth with the West.
It's just tied with the Pelicans and the Nuggets right now for the top 2.
And by the way, for anybody that thought Zion Williamson wasn't going to be an elite player in this league, boy, oh boy, he's special. Him and Ja Morant, 2 very special players.
Yeah, Grizzlies not far behind in 3rd right now. And the LA Clippers, I know you were high on them at the start of the year. They're in 4th right now.
Who would have thought that Zion Williamson and Ja Morant were going to be elite players, and our guy RJ Barrett is still trying to figure his way out.
That's what happens when Julius Randle doesn't want to give you the ball, and RJ Barrett has to deal with all these injuries as a result. And you're the biggest indicator of Julius Randle not giving anybody the ball. Individually, he's played well the last 5 games, and they've lost every game.
And now the Clippers are playing pretty good. Kawhi Leonard is back. They have to keep him healthy. He's not playing back-to-backs. He's starting to pick up his game. And when he does, watch out for the LA Clippers, because I think that Kawhi Leonard has not even played his top-level game yet. When he figures that out, watch out for them. I think the Clippers are as dangerous as any team, but the Pelicans have won 5 games in a row. They've been unbelievable, and Zion Williamson is just embarrassing teams. He's been fantastic. Do I think he's going to stay on the Pelicans? I don't. I still believe he will be a Knick one way or another in the next 2 or 3 years. He's going to push his way out. If RJ is still there, that's where he wants to go. Cam Reddish is still with the Knicks, and those are his two big buddies. Right now, the Pelicans are fun to watch, but are they going to stay like that? They do have CJ McCollum. I think it's going to be a very interesting season for them. Who would have thought they would be the number 1 seed?
Speaking of fun while it lasts, yes, the Nets are on a 10-game winning streak right now. Will they be able to find the defense the whole time is the other question.
They have the same record right now as the Pelicans. And right now, the East is just a top-heavy wise. They're way better than the West.
Yeah, they are, because even Cleveland 4th and Philly 5th, but even Indiana, a team that's overperformed this year, 19 and 17, they've played well, and the Knicks coming back down.
But they're an 8 seed, and the Knicks 8 games out. They're not going to be a first-place team.
No.
But the Knicks could eventually move up in the top 5. They can. Right now, they're 2 games out of a top 5 spot. They've played a little bit more games than Philadelphia, but the Knicks have a chance where they can fall in a 5th spot. If Jalen Brunson gets healthy, and they figure this out, because Atlanta's lost 3 games in a row, they were playing good basketball, but for some reason, they have fallen apart.
There's a story, too. Nate McMillan might resign, too. I don't know if that would be a good sign. I mean, he came in as an interim and got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Is it some reason named Trae Young?
Could be trouble there with the rest of the team, too, because they made a lot of trades that offseason, too, and it hasn't been good. And they've been right around with the Knicks. Right now, the Knicks are ahead of them.
Well, Brunson's been fantastic.
Brunson's been fantastic, and I think this losing streak is the biggest indication of why they should trade Julius Randle while the value is there, because individually, Randle's put up almost 30 points in every game, but the team doesn't win in the midst of that because he doesn't present team value.
Yeah, and I think the Knicks should trade him. And I think they will. They want to keep Obi Toppin, and I think they want to move Obi Toppin to the starting position. That's why they drafted him. I think eventually they will move on from Julius Randle, maybe for draft picks or a player that you can put in position that'll help you win for the future. So we'll see what happens with the NBA and the Knicks and the Nets and where everything falls after the All-Star break, but it's going to be fun. The Rangers are starting to pick up their games. Shesterkin starting to play like the goaltender he was last year. They've been winning with Shesterkin. His numbers haven't been elite like they were last year, but he still has a goals against 2.35. Save percentage is almost at .920. It's all about goaltending with the Rangers. Over the years, the Henrik Lundqvists of the world, Mike Richter, and John Van Beesbroek, every single time they jump from one goaltender to another, the Rangers have had great goaltending. And if you have great goaltending, they will keep you in games. Now, their defense has been a problem. I've been saying this to the Ranger fans really for the last 2 years. They have some good quality defensemen. They have 1 or 2 really good defensemen, maybe 3. But team defense, they're horrible. And in the playoffs, it showed. Now everybody's going to say, well, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then they played against a very good Tampa team. And what happened in the Eastern Conference Finals? They got embarrassed, especially after the first game. Now, you have a championship competitive team like Tampa, and we've seen this before. You cannot win without great goaltending. And Shesterkin is one of the best in the league, one of the best in the world. And I want to give a shout out to Shesterkin, knowing that his 2 friends, Romanoff on the Islanders and Sorokin, had no places to go for Christmas. He had a Christmas party. He invited his family from Russia. There was a ton of family members going to his place, and he invited Sorokin and Romanoff, who are 2 very close friends of his, to the party, and they had a place to go.
Wow.
I don't know if anybody heard that, but one of the reasons why the Islanders made a trade to bring Romanoff to the Islanders is because he's one of Sorokin's good friends. And Romanoff's been very, very good for the Islanders. Good, young, fast skater who hits very, very hard, and he's been durable. He's been healthy, and he plays hurt. What I've seen with the Rangers, and they're getting timely scoring. Panarin's been hot right now. Zibanejad is getting hot. So all their big star players are starting to score, and that's what they need. And their 4th line starting to play well, which in the beginning of the season, they had no 4th line. Now they're starting to put the puck in the net. They're starting to win face-offs. You see what this Ranger team could be. If you're a Ranger fan, I think you should be very excited going into the new year with the New York Rangers.
Yeah, there's a lot of shuffling going on in the bottom depth of that rotation right now because there's been a certain overperformers, guys like Julien Gauthier that were 4th line guys that have actually played well enough where Gerard Gallant has moved them up to the 3rd line and Semi Blais the same kind of thing. And the kids have played a lot better too. Capo Caco and Filipino are both on some of the hottest stretches of their careers so far as Rangers. But the one guy that has been struggling a bit is Alexis Lafreniere.
I've been telling you about him.
Yeah, they scratched him against the Lightning, which I guess guess is a little bit of a concern. He was practicing a lot with the fourth line, so hopefully he can get back into it. 12 assists, 17 points, 5 goals right now on the year, which is the same as what Hedl has. So hopefully maybe it's just a streakiness thing for him. But yeah, the top guys have still been very good. The Rangers have turned it around in the third period. As far as the defense, yeah, Zach Jones had to be demoted. They brought up a veteran in Ben Harper, who's been taking the spot for now. But the rest of the defense has picked it up. I think the more of the concern is the forwards playing defense a lot of the time. Sometimes they can get too passive. I think Shesterkin's now picking it up. They lost at a tight shootout to the Lightning, and they lost a close one to the Penguins. But beyond that, they've still been playing pretty good hockey. They're staying afloat in the tight wild card right now. We've been talking about the Metro a lot. There's 6 teams right now between 44 and 46 points in the Metro, and the Islanders being one of them, the Penguins, the Capitals, and the Devils all crunched together. The Rangers are going to have to get some of those wins back.
We expected this.
Yeah.
We did. We expected this. Washington's starting to play pretty good hockey. They've jumped. They went from
the Rangers.
They went from the 7th seed all the way to the 3rd seed in the Metropolitan Division, and they're getting timely scoring from their superstar in Alexander Ovechkin, who right now is on pace to score another 50 goals this year. It's unbelievable what this guy is doing. He's one of the best offensive players we've seen since Gretzky and Lemieux and Yager. Timo Solani, too. He's fantastic. He's fun to watch. But as far as the Islanders are concerned, and I am an Islander fan, Sorokin is the key. Right now, Varlamov isn't 100% healthy. That's why they brought in Schneider. And Corey Schneider is not going to play. And this is where you're going to have the opportunity to see what Sorokin can do. If he can lead this team without Varlamov all the way to the top. And I think he can. And he's proving that he can. He's put the team on his shoulders. There are games that he gives up bad goals. He has given up a couple of bad goals this year. But he still keeps his team in it. And when you watch him completely shut out the Edmonton Oilers when they had 49 shots, that's the type of goaltender that the Islanders have. The Islanders had problems over the years with elite goaltending. They've never had it, really, since Billy Smith. They brought in John Van Beesbroek one year. He played pretty well for them. Over the years, they had Healy and Chris Osgood. He had a couple of good years with the Islanders, but the Islanders had never had an elite young goaltender. I do not want to hear. Everybody knows the name that I can't stand, and that's DiPietro. He wasn't an elite goalie. He never was. He was an overpaid goalie, and he's still getting paid by the Islanders. So I think that Sorokin is the perfect fit for the Islanders, and if he could put the team on his shoulders and they could put a couple of pucks in the net, they're going to win. They have a good defense. Has their defense played elite throughout the season? No, their games they've fallen apart, but they're also fighting with injury. Pellick hasn't been 100%. They lost a certain amount of defensemen on and off. They lost Aho. They lost Salo. He's been up and down, up and down.
Yeah, pretty much everybody besides Dobson has gotten hurt at some point.
Yeah, Dobson's right now, to me, a Norris Trophy candidate. He's been fantastic this year. Goal scoring, he's one of the team's lead goal scorers. He's one of the best defensemen in the NHL. So everything that we saw the Islanders believe he was when Lou Lamoriello had his first draft, when he drafted Wahlstrom and Dobson, both those guys are figuring it out. So that's good to watch. And with the Islanders, they need one more goal scorer, maybe 2. And I expect at the trade deadline where Lou could figure out who's going and who's staying. And the Islanders will have money in the offseason. And I believe they'll look for a big, huge piece in the offseason to bring in. The question is who and what. Lou struck out and failed this summer, and I don't expect him to do it next summer. I expect them to get somebody in there. It sucks when you have a great player like Barzal and he doesn't really have any weapons around him that can help him or take pressure off him so he can be more of a goal scorer. But he is more of a passer than a goal scorer. He's not John Tavares. He's more of a facilitator than he is a guy that likes to put the puck in the net. But he has games where he scores 2 goals or 3 goals in a game. I want to see him do it more consistently, and if they can find a player that can play beside him, watch out for the Islanders.
Yeah, you're right about Dobson. He's actually the 4th leading goal scorer on the team. Only Nelson, Lee, and Parise have more right now.
And right now, he's doing everything that you want a defenseman to do to win the Norris Trophy. He's one of the best defensemen. Plus-minus wise, he's up there right now in the league. He's been fantastic.
And I think a lot like I was saying with the Rangers, I think it's sometimes the defensive struggles have come with the Islanders forwards not picking it up as much defensively recently, especially the younger guys. Haven't played as well with the forecheck as we've seen in years past with Barry Trotz's system. Maybe that's Lane Lambert's system, but it was doing well in the beginning of the season, so maybe they just had a tough time adjusting with that kind of thing. As far as Sorokin, yes, this will be a big test with the volume of games he's going to play, because his percentages, he's been playing more than Varlamov this year, but the percentages is still not what you would want for what is considered an elite goaltender, an elite goaltending prospect, and you want him to play at the percentage of somebody like Shesterkin, like he did last year in his Vezina year. So that'll be a big test for him. You're right, he's given up some soft goals, which, again, elite goalies do have those problems at times. We've seen that with Henrik Lundqvist in certain games. We've seen that with Carey Price. Like, when they do up a goal. It's a bad goal. It's a goal you don't expect. And maybe Sorokin's going through a little bit of that right now. But he's young. He's plenty of time to turn it around.
Noah Dobson in offense right now is ranked 19th out of defensemen in the league. Adam Fox has 35, but he has 7 goals this year and 28 assists. Noah Dobson right now out of defensemen, he is second in goals out of defensemen in the whole league. Only Erik Karlsson and Dahlin has the same amount of goals, and Erik Karlsson's the only one that has more goals than Dobson. That's how good offensively Dobson's been this year. So he'll definitely be a Norris Trophy candidate, and we'll see moving forward where these players are going to be.